How you doing, Jordan? Oh,
Morning.
it's Jordan. How you
Hey,
doing?
can you hear me? Maybe not.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
Oh, that's why. 1 second, sorry.
Can you hear me now? No.
There we go. Hey, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up with you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
How you doing?
Just good, man. Good, man. How are you?
I'm chilling. I'm good. I can't complain. Uh-oh, I need to turn my light off.
Yeah, you getting ready for this rain we're about to have?
I, I thought it was gone, but I did. So what was that the day it rained? Friday? Thursday?
Yeah.
I was outside early when the day started and I seen the wind blowing crazy and I was like, oh, okay. Um, because I'm doing these like every day for the month. So like when
Oh,
I
nice. These
yeah,
sessions? Cool.
yeah. So like when I wake up, if I don't like talk to a client or go to a friend's like event or whatever, I get ready and I'm looking outside and maybe like the latest it'll go, even though it says 12:30 is like 2. There's some that have been like ending like at 1:30 or 2. And
Hmm.
I walk outside to let my dogs in, and it's like I literally say, "Man, it looks like it's about to be a storm." So then
Yeah.
my cousin gets off work. He's like, "You ready for the rain for the next 5 days?" I'm like, "What? What do you mean it's gonna rain?" He's like, "Yeah, it's gonna rain 5 days." So like later on that night, it started raining hard, pouring, raining through the night. It stopped because my mom works for Metro, so she wakes up very early in the morning, like
Yeah.
3 or 4. So like it stopped raining. No, it was still raining until an hour after she left. Woke up, sun was out the next day.
Yeah. Yeah, they're usually, I mean, you know this. You've grown up around here. Like usually they overhype it, although it's been I don't know. Apparently, it's supposed to rain like 2 inches tomorrow. Who knows if it's
I mean, the
actually going to
last
do
time, no,
that?
it was the last time before this, it was crazy. That one
Yeah,
was.
I
It was
know.
raining super crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we had something like that in a minute. I think they
Yeah,
overhyped that one a little bit, but that one was still crazy.
for sure. Yeah, I got to go like get ready, get my house all like put
Yeah,
like,
like
get the get the towels
blocks
out for
up
my
and stuff.
dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
certain
it's
spots.
silly. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Cool,
garage is
man.
like
Well, yeah,
that.
I was looking forward to this. I was excited to learn a little bit more about Obsidian and yeah.
Oh yeah, all these. So just to give context on this, yeah, I'm doing this for 30 days. They're just different sessions with Claude Code with
Cool.
different tools that I
Oh, really?
have.
Oh, nice. How do I find the other ones? Where is it
Oh
listed?
yeah, I can give you the link. Give me a minute.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I sent it to a couple of my other friends that are like big on Claude Code, but I think I told
Mhm.
them about it too late, but I'll send them the other
No, you're
ones.
good. You know what? Actually, I add the rest of the events today because today is day 14 technically. So I add the rest of the 2 weeks. But I'll send you the calendar
Sweet.
page right here. I have it right here. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you're
you
good.
won't see anything, I think, because today is the last event. But yeah.
Oh, this is the last one?
Well, no, not today, like that I have put on there for it to be
Oh,
like
oh, okay.
scheduled. Yeah, yeah. So if you
Got
don't
it.
see anything, it's because I haven't updated it yet. I need to do that after.
Cool. Let me share this with them. Okay, awesome. Subscribe.
But yeah, basically it's with tools that I've used for myself or for clients or that are just coming out and playing around with it and stuff. Really, the whole point is there's a lot of people that I know or come to me that pay for Claude, but have not used Claude Code for whatever reason, see all these other things,
Right.
um, and just want to kind of get started doing something. So it's really just more of a hands-on. So like other sessions, I've walked people through setting up Claude Code. If they don't have it, obviously you have it and stuff, and getting set up
Yeah.
on VS Code. So if they actually want to like participate and follow and do their own thing, they can do that as
Nice, dude.
well. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really exciting.
yeah, if somebody joins that doesn't have that and wants to participate, I'll help them do that. But today's Sunday. We might be the only ones, which it really doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I'm happy to kind of dive in Obsidian as well. It's
Yeah,
kind
that'd
of
be great. Yeah, and also too, like, yeah, just sharing any sort of shared learnings of Claude Code. I'm pretty I'm feeling good about it. I think the thing that I'm noticing, and I have another friend who is in it all day, like You tell me, man. Like I have with because the context resets, like some days I'm crushing it, and then other days it's just like
You don't
I'm
feel
pulling
like it
teeth.
touching
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And like I think that's why Obsidian would be so helpful because it's like a
Yeah.
and I don't know much about it. I haven't even set it up yet, but yeah, I'd love to like learn
Yeah,
what I
walk
can
through.
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I would say I know a good amount about it. Have I used it for a very long time? No. I think
Uh-huh.
maybe I'm like at maybe about a month. But the thing is, I had a friend. Well, he still is my friend. I just don't know where he's at. He's disappeared somewhere.
Oh shit, man. Sorry to hear
Like not in the bad,
that.
not in the
Okay.
bad way. We just like I met him through another friend in a group,
Yeah,
and like he just hasn't been like in a group or in a group chat or you know. Hopefully everything's good. But yeah, but
for
his name's
sure.
Garrett, and he used Obsidian like I'm talking about when it first dropped. It was one of it was Obsidian was one of the first tools I heavily heard for sure at least a year into when AI came out or after.
Hmm.
Um, and at its core, it's basically just a file system in Markdown at its core. It's literally what it is, right? So you have files on your computer. All those files are not in Markdown. Obsidian is everything is in Markdown, which is obviously helpful to, you know, large language models. But it's also other things that I'll get into, like I think just being able to link nodes, this thing that they have a knowledge graph where basically like everything kind of um, connects to each other and things like that. But I think the best thing and the most simple, especially just speaking in a time of AI, because people do use it for different things, you know, node, habit tracker, different things. They have a community plugin marketplace, so people make different plugins to do different things. Like if you're familiar with Excalibur, you can put
Hmm.
Excalibur inside of Obsidian and do diagrams and draw and you know different things like that. I'll kind of show some of those things too. But in
Cool.
terms of like AI, like I think the biggest thing is we'll get into like the context thing, but I think the and this is the biggest thing for me is like obviously being able to work with the files in your computer, which is a super benefit of when before we had Claude Code, right? We would paste files, do all that stuff. Then a little bit before Claude Code came out, you know, they had MCPs that would read the file system of your um, device, whatever you're on. Sorry, I'm pausing because I was going to show an example of that actually.
Oh
Let's
yeah, you're all good.
go to my Zoom, share my screen. So, like, as an example, I have a connector. Before I was using Claude, and this is not a bad thing, but before I was using Claude Code, right, I would have to use a connector called file system,
Hmm.
which is basically MCP that you give access to a directory or file. It's able to actually look in there, edit files, write files, do stuff. Very cool.
Hmm.
Right. And I still do use that, but obviously I
Yeah.
mainly use Claude Code more. So being able to work with the files on your computer. Now I know there are some people that do kind of like advanced things, like they have a Google Drive and that Google Drive can sync to their computer
Hmm.
and the files are on there as well. I don't do that, but same thing, right? So I'm actually just go to Obsidian really quick. Right. And first off,
Hmm.
Obsidian is open source. It's always will be open source. So it's literally free at core to use it. They do have um, like monthly subscriptions for, I believe, mainly it's just Obsidian Sync. There's something called Obsidian Sites, which is, I'll show an example of that because their documentation is
Is it Obsidian Sync would be if I'm about to like try to use it across two computers? Is that what it would be
different
for?
devices.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
on your phone. And I'll talk about different ways you can sync and do stuff because I don't use Obsidian Sync. I use GitHub. I use Git to do.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to learn. I need to be much better about Git. So I'd love to,
Yeah.
yeah, hear your feedback there too, please.
Yeah. So right, you can customize this themes, all type of stuff. Going just really quick to the pricing. So forever free. They do have something you know, different users, I guess, per user for sync, $4. And then they have something called sites, like I said, which is I'll show an example of that, but I'm not. I gotta remember how to get there. Then they do have like one time uh
Oh, a one-time fee.
pricing
Yeah.
for Catalyst. And Catalyst, I think mainly it's just for like getting the features before they come out. So like as an
Hmm.
example, right now, they have a CLI, which is out in beta, but it's only for people who have Catalyst, I believe. I don't think you get it even if you pay for sync. I could be totally wrong on that. And I don't use anything, I wouldn't be using this as a commercial license or anything, so I can't really speak to that. But this is
Commercial license meaning what? Like you're using it
a
for,
business.
okay.
I don't think in the terms of like SaaS or anything, but just like
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we doing it for business? Maybe
business in
not. Okay.
general. Yeah. I mean, no one's really, as far as I know, and throughout a lot of research that I've seen on YouTube of various videos, nobody's using a commercial
Commercial. Okay.
license. Yeah, for sure. For sure, probably paying for Obsidian Sync, but not that. So, guess let me give a little bit more context here of what I've been specifically doing or how I prep to like come use Obsidian. So, obviously, we have our best friend here, YouTube, and kind of, let me give reference. I have a friend who's popular on YouTube. His name is Stephen Pope. I'm an admin in his community. We talk all the time. And
Stephen
this,
Pope, you said?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
And recently he just made this video where he made basically something called a Pope bot, which is using the core of what ClaudeBot runs on to make a more secure ClaudeBot, basically, long story short. And
Yeah. Do you
um,
like CloudBot? Is that something else? Because I have this like Mac Mini here, and I'm like, should I be using it to do all this stuff that everyone's talking about? Or I've heard it's super insecure.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I have not thought about one time using it, even
Really?
if it was secure. That's personally me. Is it
Really?
probably
Just
cool and amazing things? Probably, but I don't know. I really don't have like a even like a decent response to it. I don't know. I build all the time. I like
yeah.
building. I'm not really, I
Oh,
don't
you
really
don't
see,
because you want to
I
be more
don't,
hands-on, you're saying, with
I
what
mean,
you're
it's not
building?
that. I don't really see a benefit of like having the AI go build code while I'm not there. And
Yeah.
I guess it really falls down to like, it's not that it can't do it. You still need certain environmental variables and stuff. And I haven't
Right.
sat down to do a workflow to do that. And what I
Fair
do
enough.
now and how Claude Code works, to be honest, already does literally those things for me.
That's what I'm
So
thinking.
I
I'm
don't.
trying to get there with Claude Code. Yeah, for sure. Right? Like, using it on
Is it
mobile, things
running
like
20? Is
that.
it running 24/7 when I sleep? No, but I don't really have a need for that.
Right.
To
Okay.
really be honest, that's really like before anything else. I just really don't have a need for an AI agent to run 24/7 to really do anything for me. Why that
Yeah.
is, I couldn't really give an answer, but there's no rush
Yeah.
for me to really. Mm-mm.
Fair enough. Okay, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
I'll
have
check
like
out
a
his bot, his Pope bot. You said it's Pope bot, Pope.
yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. And basically, we were having a conversation around like how it was saved in memory and what he was using and stuff like that, which he's using Git as well. Now he doesn't use Obsidian, but he uses like a it's not an alternative. I can't think of the name. I think it's called Rome search something like something very, very old, like predates Obsidian, but you could say Obsidian is kind of like not built from that, like using any code, but the same type of logic applies there when it comes to like putting in files. And there's this knowledge graph thing that I'll show in a minute.
Cool.
Um, and then one of the reasons he was telling me like he kind of wasn't like looking at Obsidian is because it kind of have too many features. And I'll go into that in a little bit too. And I thought that was interesting because when I was doing research and how I do research, like I guess before I really start with that, let's talk about like taking notes and where you save stuff and stuff like that. All right. So I've been using a company called Todoist for literally the year I started automating, like, and I've been using this platform at least since like 2010, 11 for a very long time. And even with me using it that long, there's no reason with it. I kind of go up and down with like how structured I am with doing things or how I used to be. So when I used to have my credit repair company and have like all my companies, I used to be like very, very detailed, you know,
Hmm.
things I not to say it's not a point to do that anymore. It's just I don't know, maybe because I'm building more.
Yeah. And
I
do
wasn't
you
doing
think
that.
this is different? Like this is separate than notes. This is just strictly your to-do list. Is that how you think about
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
Now, granted, like I've seen people use to do is this platform like in that fashion. There's many
Yeah.
different ways you can do it, but for me, it was really just more about like organizing resources. At a time, I would collaborate with people in here and different things. Mainly now,
Right.
just come in here and kind of like snippets. They're kind of like notes. You could say that in a way. I don't I it is connected to my Google Calendar, so things do pop up on here and stuff like that. But it's
Oh,
just a
nice.
good way for me to
Yeah.
put it. And
Because
it's a very
I dump everything into Apple Notes, but candidly,
yeah.
Apple Notes is not good at to-do lists. It's a good like note, just like a place to throw notes and
Yeah.
prompts and all
Yeah.
that. But
And
this
you
is
can
interesting.
like, and I'm not by any means knocking Todoist. Like, it's a
Yeah.
really amazing platform. First off, the free plan does beyond a lot. And if you want to start paying for it, it's literally $5 a month. Like
Yeah.
it does what it needs to do and more. You can automate it. It has APIs. Very great, amazing platform. And even with me doing this, obviously I have stuff that, I can easily turn off this to have no date. I don't. It's just when I put a task, it's there. But it does what
Yeah.
it needs to do. I'm very happy with it.
Good.
The
Cool.
problem is, I think, when it comes to trying to, there was a time when I did like overflow this before. Because sometimes like you don't need to pay for a platform, and I'm not kind of really that person. It just really depends on like what I'm doing. Does do I end up paying that $5 a month plan? So like I have a plethora of files. Like I'm not gonna go into my Google Drive or anything like that, but I'm just kind of getting
Sure.
into like how we take notes and how we do things. At the end of the day, they're kind of scattered. Now, when it comes to AI, they have an MCP, which I could use, right? And I do use it at times. Very great, very easy. If I wanted AI to come put some notes in here,
Oh,
do
to
stuff.
Todoist. Okay,
Yeah, and
cool.
Todoist,
Yeah.
right? It can do all that stuff. Very great. Pomodoro technique. Like this the company that is behind Todoist is all built on asynchronous communication and teamwork. That's how they work, right? I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term. It basically means
Hmm.
like working together. You
Oh
guys
yeah.
are there basically, right?
Hmm.
So it's great. And once again, I'm just referencing that because different ways we take notes. So what I've been kind of where was I leading with that? Right. So that this is where all my stuff is, Google Drive and all that stuff like that. Now, this is where I was leading with. Even though I use the MCP, even though I can make skills and stuff, at the end of the day, working with files on your computer is faster. You probably already have the files on your computer. Even if you don't have a Google Drive or Sync, you're probably downloading the PDF from anywhere. You're getting sent something in your email, right? Like all these things, you probably have these files at somewhere here. And depending on what platform, right? There's usually a problem with like trying to access those files or how many files you can have before you start needing to upgrade, which is why we put stuff in Google Drive because usually if you pay at least like me, if you pay for, Google Workspace, even a regular plan, you get at least like 2 TB, I think, and a whole grip of storage and everything. So back to the whole point of Obsidian. Obsidian is all Markdown files, right? And I'm trying not to go super fast into this. So even though I have my own way of storing notes, organizing stuff, we all do, whether it's perfect or not, I think Obsidian will always take that to the next step and above. Whenever I start using a new platform, I always try to at least do some research on YouTube with people who've been using things for a long time. And the reason why I'm able to do this really easily, and before I go into that, the alternative to what I'm about to say is just putting this in Google Notebook for most people. That's probably what they do now. They don't even watch YouTube videos. They just go to Google Notebook, put it in there, try to get stuff. I work from home, or whenever like I'm walking to the store, sitting on the toilet, doing whatever, I'm
Yeah.
always listening to YouTube in the background. Whether it's
Oh,
anime, as
nice.
you can
Okay.
see right here, whether it's stuff
Yeah.
like just to give context, I'm always doing that. That's something I've always been doing
Yeah.
for years. That's how I learn. That's how
So
I'm
you
able
pay
to
for
do
YouTube
stuff.
then, I imagine, huh?
I don't.
No. Oh, you have ads come up. Okay.
I have ads come up. I just skip
Yeah.
it, or I'm not. I,
Yeah,
I
fair.
tune it out, and I'm just working. That's what I do
Cool. Okay.
24/7. So when I go to like, this was recently in the last week, right? I go to Obsidian, look up stuff.
Yeah.
The main
Okay.
two guys that pop up is this guy right here who I'll come to. And then there's, let me go to my history, this guy right here. And I like looking at these videos because like, you know how like everything has a methodology
If all you're
and
doing.
stuff like that. So like
Yeah,
in these two methodologies, I'm not going to get into them a lot, even though I am using this one. And it's just simply because I haven't been really using them for a long time to really understand them. But
sure.
I'm just giving context to what I did as I went into my Obsidian and how I kind of slightly changed some things. So I looked up this guy who has like a wonderful like playlist, a couple videos of him using Obsidian for a while. And I kind of always look for videos, especially for things that have been out for a long time. Like the time frame is a couple years ago, if that makes sense. And that's
Right.
literally simply not to make fun of anybody. New content, you can kind of tell with people who like just found a tool and just made a video on it. I don't kind of look for that because that's not kind of what
Sure.
I'm looking for. And then sometimes some of these people are like very OCD like, which like is maybe something you can relate to, even if they're not OCD. But this person is very
I can
specific,
relate. Yeah.
yeah, like on how they organize stuff. So they're like, okay, I see where he's going and like how I can change this. So he
Yeah.
uses something basically called the para method. And then there's another method that's widely known. And these are, when I say these methods, they're widely known in Obsidian. I think they're known
Okay.
in general, but they're always usually talked about in Obsidian. So it's called the para method, which I think the basis of, and I can be wrong, is not putting things in folders because that folder system, how we think, is based on physical folders, not digital folders. There's more to it, but that's like the underlining concept. And
Okay.
then the Zettelkasten method, I'm to be honest, I have no idea what it is. And I'll probably like look it up while we're doing some of this and
Sure, sure.
point to some other videos. But just once again, giving reference, those are two main things. So right now I use the pair method, right? And one thing that's big with the pair method is you kind of only have like four, let's call them levels, I guess.
Okay.
Projects, areas, resources, and archives. Obviously, archives is stuff that you don't have anymore. So I'm just gonna go through like what's in mine, but obviously it could be different for people. So like in my projects, these are literally just all the stuff I'm vibe coding or working on that's in my specific folder that you would normally have if you were vibe coding, if that makes sense. Right.
Yeah, so these would
Local
normally
projects.
be like your repo folder that you're working off of in VS Code or
You could say that, yeah.
okay.
Or they might not be. It could be a folder with just content from Zoom or something, like this example right here, which that is. It's just
Okay.
literally a content, a folder with a lot of content because I made a content pipeline in there, if that makes sense. It doesn't have to be a vibe coded project. It's just in general, it's kind of just like organizing. If you're gonna be doing like, let's just say dev work, quote unquote, doesn't have to be related to vibe coding, you're gonna have a folder where all those things are.
Right.
That's
Okay.
what this mainly that's what this project thing here. And it just gives there's more to this. I haven't finished all this, but it just gives an overview, current focus, where that repo is, if I have it here, right?
Mhm.
Like what the repository actually is, and then what folder it's actually in, right? And then I have areas, which I'm gonna start saying some things, and they might not make sense, but we'll like for sure it'll make sense like a little bit later. So I have
Okay.
sessions and they're blank right now. Sessions are basically my idea of looking through all my conversations with Claude Code to basically learn and try to update stuff, which I'll go into in a minute. But kind of just to start off, if you've never seen this before, and I'm using my when I do things for Obsidian, I don't use VS Code. I just use my terminal and start from my root folder because you're not, I don't think it makes sense to like make a folder for Obsidian or go in it. I mean, you can go in it, but
I
It
see what you're
already has
saying.
like
Yeah,
its
because
own,
VS
it already
Code,
has
you
its
need
own
to, yeah,
folder and stuff. Yeah, you get what I'm
I
saying?
see.
There's like really no
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't do that.
Because in VS Code or I use so I use Cursor, and the reason very simply I use Cursor because I'm not a coder, so I have one of the agents check the other's
Yeah.
work. But you're saying because you don't need to use a folder, you can just do it in the CLI in the terminal.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I can just open up Obsidian and look at it. Now, I guess to give a little
So
more
what did you
context,
sorry, what did you open up there? You just did
I just
Claude
opened up
in
my
your
terminal.
and did Claude? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and just did Claude in my like regular
Okay,
user
terminal.
kind of
Okay.
directory. Yeah.
Sweet.
So, what was I gonna say with that? Where was I going with that? Ah, if you don't know, there's this command called insights. And basically what this does is takes a few of your Claude Code sessions and gives you this page, this insight page. In fact, I'll just let it generate
Dude,
its
yes,
thing.
I did not know about this. Oh my God.
Yeah, and takes a few of your information and stuff and kind of gives you this overview, which you'll see. Now, I've made my own, which I'm gonna publish probably tonight or tomorrow because it's not a problem. But this, I don't think, and other people have agreed, kind of solves the bigger problem. It
Yeah.
basically doesn't pull all of your Claude Code conversations. I don't know which projects it picks because you got to think of it like this. How do people normally use Claude Code? Right? We just said it. We go into a folder, we select that specific project, we're only working in that project. Even though Claude has access to all of our projects, technically, we
Yeah.
just work
Yeah,
in that project.
I stupidly I'll like drag folders in and be like reference all the stuff in this folder, and that it usually works, but you're right, it's silly that you have to do that, you know.
Right. So, I mean, it makes sense to your point. Most people want to see the files on the left-hand side and stuff like that, which is why they're using an IDE, right? But to the point of like how this works, and I could be wrong because I want you to follow me, and if you're confused, let me know.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm running this from my main user like folder, right? It has access to everything under ham chowder, right?
And that,
I'm not
is that your hard drive, ham chowder?
Yeah, that's like my user profile.
You
Like
use it
when you
for
open
okay.
up your terminal, you have a default user. So you see this
Yeah.
right here, like that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what I'm in. And let me open this up really quick. Right? Like, and then what I'm saying is I have a specific folder, right? I made a folder called code. It could be called projects, it could be called anything, where all my stuff is at, right? So if I was to open up Windsurf right now, it would be the same thing for cursor, right? And let's close this. No, I didn't mean window, I meant workspace. Close this folder. And I want to open a new project. What do? I have to go to open folder. Right. I have to look for my code folder. And then I just click on that project and I open that project. Right. And then I start
Yep.
Claude in the terminal or with the app. Right. That's how, but what I'm trying to focus on is I'm just in this specific folder. To your point.
Sure. Yep.
If you
Yep.
want to reference something else, you can drag it, you can do whatever. I usually just speak to it, and when you kind of just have things organized in a certain way, you can just tell it to go look in that specific folder or directory. But I just want to make sure we're on the same, and for other people who
Totally.
watch this later are on the same page, right? So I'll close this because I won't be working in that. Move this over. So just really quick to give context because a lot of things are going to build into this. Um, can you just open this in my browser? So you can actually like see this report to give context to sessions. So because all of these conversations and everything's are in file, when I'm talking with Claude, I wanted to track these sessions basically, like they're these insights. So I can um, just learn and stop one stuff. I just find that as a way of learning, right? So when you run that command, it's going to generate something like this and literally just give you I guess advice, helpful information, how you use Claude, different things like that. It's literally what it is, right?
Dude, I got to do this after this call. I got to see what it says. It's awesome.
Yeah, right. So it'll give you like helpful things to add to your MD file, you know, different stuff like that, custom skills you might
Yeah.
want to make, hooks you can run, headless mode, recommending new ways to use Claude Code, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Talking about parallel just really, really good goes into it, right? So like I said, I have my own version that's deeper than that. I'll share that with you later. But yeah, a lot of people don't know about this skill. So going back to the whole point of with Obsidian is these sessions, if they were here, whenever I start up Claude Code and work in a project, it tracks those sessions and put mini notes inside of there. There's something
Okay.
called task notes because along with those sessions, what I want to judge for measurement, now this is getting like really deep because of, studies, is AI making you slower, smarter, even though you have a lot of output, are you actually getting stuff done, et cetera, right? So now, because, and I could have done this in many ways, but I think just Obsidian makes it way easier. They have something called community plugins, which is basically like an extension. Now, I don't have many here, as you can see. But this is kind of something that I hear people kind of say of like, oh, Obsidian has too many features. And I'm like, well, you don't have to kind of install them and you can really install just a little that I don't want to get into the whole thing, but I like the ecosystem. I think it's very nice and it's very flexible. It's not like you're being forced in to do anything, which is always great for a product. But there's a community plugin called TaskNotes that does a variety of things. What I like that it does is it allows you to, so let's just open this, go into some different views. So, and I think these are all attached to that, right? So I have my calendar connected to this
Oh, whoa,
literally in real
cool.
time that can be referenced. All right, so I can see like everything on here. And then if I make
Huh.
task and other things that can be there, they have different views and stuff like that. I'll get into this test from CLI and PR stuff a little bit later. Once again, keep in mind that's all going to be referenced here back in these sessions and things like that. And there's just there's no stuff here, but yeah, obviously you kind of get the point of that. And then I have like other tasks. Now these were made with Claude Code as I'm building out this entire thing with Obsidian that I'm talking
Hmm.
with you about. That's why they're just kind of like
When
dummy
did,
examples and
quick
stuff.
quick question. Before you did all this, did you have to connect Claude Code to Obsidian? When did you
So
do
think
that
about
part?
so think about this on a basic level. Once again, Obsidian is just files on your
Files.
computer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got you. Okay.
So you don't need
Yeah.
to connect anything.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
literally just say reference the Obsidian folder. Now I'm going to get deeper into that. That's a good
Okay,
question. I just
cool.
want you to start off with that base as far as
Yeah.
how would you connect Obsidian to Claude Code. You really don't need to. It's a file system on your computer. Now, getting into the next simple answer is they do have a local REST API, right? So you can have Claude Code actually interact with the API locally on Obsidian. Now, I know the next question to that might be like, why would you do that? I can't really say why you would and why you did it, why you wouldn't, right? Maybe, it's faster, better. Maybe you're doing something, I have no clue. I'm just going into, you know,
Sure.
different ways how you can connect and do things like that, right? So you can access Obsidian local REST API. And then they do have, I don't think it's in the community plugins. I could be wrong if I browse, but they do have an MCP for uh this as well. Is this the one that I was using? Well, I wasn't using it last time, but yes, they do have an MCP. So as an example, now mind you, once again, even Claude Desktop can access this because they're just files. But
Right.
if you want to connect the MCP there, use it as a connector, you can do that as well, right? So very simple, kind of very easy to get connected to Obsidian, right? So Task Notes, once again, is a plugin that kind of just add these
So are
extra
you like for
features.
groceries, Tylen, are you literally going in here and you're typing in the buy groceries section what groceries to buy, correct?
I'll get it. So no, I'll get into that. Keep personal. I'll get into personal a little later. Just think
Okay,
when I'm actually on my computer and doing stuff. Not that I wouldn't, but to give real context, I do that on my phone. I'll show you how I'm doing that or setting that up on my phone as well.
cool.
And keep in mind that there's a certain way, and it's not like complicated or anything, but I'm doing it because I don't use Obsidian Sync, and then
I
because I
see.
use Git. So I'll show you. There's like not a workaround, but different things that you can do which attribute to these community plugins. So, and then on the side, I have this closed, but and right, this actually, when I make changes, I'll make some in a minute. This is connected to my Git, like I said, right? So you can
Ah,
actually,
okay.
then when I mean Git,
And
I
that's
mean
just a
Git.
personal preference, like you like Git, is that?
No, it's because I'm not using Obsidian Sync.
Because okay, because you're not using sync. Okay.
So it's once again, these are files on my computer. Almost all files, usually all the time, can be um, um, like modified, I guess, with Git. I could be wrong. Obsidian might use Git under the hood as well. I could be totally wrong. I don't remember
Yeah.
at this
Do
moment.
you have thoughts on like I have a Git for my personal email and then I have a Git for my business I'm running. Do you have thoughts on like can it connect to both? Is there a way to run it or
When you say that, what do
imagine
you mean?
like I have a I don't know. I set up a different like domain for my like automation and voice AI agency and I have a Git account for that email address and I have a Git account for like my personal email address.
Oh no,
Do you have just
I keep it all the same.
you do?
I've thought about that, but to be honest, like for instance, I like mine is my personal ham chowder. That's where I put everything at, or even share with clients. Opposed to Otaku Solutions, my actual business name, and putting one there. No, not really.
Okay.
I'm not making software really or doing stuff. Like I'm using other stuff. That's my
Sure.
personal perspective, if that makes sense. Like if I was actually
Yeah.
developing something that was under the name of Otaku Solutions, like I actually owned it and stuff, I might do it that way.
And a
But
Git, yeah. I'm
no,
just wondering if you can hook it up to multiple Gits or not, if it even matters, if I'm overthinking it.
I don't think you, I don't want to say you can, but it'd probably be like you'd have two different Obsidian accounts for sure.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
you wouldn't mix it like that if you really wanted to do it like that.
Got it. Okay.
hmm
Cool.
Yeah, but this is a private GitHub where everything backs up to Git, and then I'll talk about how I do that from the phone and other stuff in a minute. But oh yeah, going back to this, so then they have this thing called dashboards where going back to like basically when I'm making content, and this is to help me make content more because one of the problems that I have is, and I think everybody has this, like I have so much stuff that can be used. Now, granted, for me, it's just specifically I don't really care about content, but in terms of like how I'm gonna actually be using it now, and I think Obsidian really kind of like helps with that. Of course, I'm obviously using Claude Code. So once again, Claude Code having access to all my files, whether I take that from Todoist, Google, or whatever, and put that in here is great because whenever I'm making an internal tool for myself to help me make content, it can reference literally all of these things. So, as an example, I have a challenge coming out, which is literally the same thing as this, called it's basically called the Claude Code Challenge, and the content right for that is here, and then the AI can reference that as I make this whatever it is for. So, as an example, this is all going to be in a plugin um, that people actually use for Claude Code that like is very interactive and has everything that you need to help you build whatever project it is for that day. Uh, um, whatever it is I'm learning, which is attributed back to these sessions, because usually when I'm debugging or doing certain things, I can add that here to this learning session, which once again, Claude Code can also always go back to. Personal health, I don't have anything right here, obviously, but that's very straightforward. We get to projects that I'm working on, right? So this is how I'm choosing to organize mine. I literally just did this before this call because I have a
Oh,
lot of things
nice.
that I need to um, do because all of these are not paused. Some of these are done. Some of these are clients, whatever the case. But I have a group of projects that I can have tracked. I can have, once again, every time I'm using Claude Code and I go into any project, and this is my goal again, right? So I open Claude Code, I go into a project, I say, you know, A, B, C, D, that task is created here, tracked, a timer starts, and then when that task
Yeah.
is done, the timer is done. Why be right? Because my whole goal is to actually try to measure what's getting done, how fast, right, and verify it just for kind of my own study and other things at the end of the day of seeing AI actually help me with developing, building things, shipping things, doing things like that, right? So, right, all of Claude Code conversations, which are sessions, linking back to other small things like learning, debugging. I'll get into more of that you'll see in a minute, and other things like that. This working
Cool.
one, I'm not sure what's supposed to be in here at the moment. I have to go back through here. Kind of makes sense, but I'll be honest. I think I have a way other advanced project that I'm not even going to mention that I think it made this for. So I will skip that one.
So it's creating a lot of this content automatically, you're saying, right? In
I'll show
in
you. I'll show
Obsidian?
you in a
Okay.
minute, but I'm
Yeah.
doing it from terminal and doing, certain things and stuff like that. But like, how could I explain it? I had these files on my computer. Like this was stuff I already had, or better yet, the actual projects, like the vibe coded projects, that's what it's pulling it from. So
Oh,
you can see
nice.
that in the code that like
Yeah.
going. So let me be a little bit more specific, and I'm trying to kind of hide this as much as possible, but it is what it is. So I have something, like I said, coming out called the Claude Code Challenge,
Nice, man.
where I don't want to get too deep into it, but all the things that you're going to see when it talks about AI agent protocols and content and learning took this from this website for the plugin that I'm making that's tied to this,
This is great.
right? Just to give context to that. So coming back to Obsidian, I don't have anything for health or anything like that. And then they have something called bases, which again, like I said, is like, active sessions, all sessions, content overview, health overview, things related back to projects, just different way of kind of seeing this because
Oh,
Obsidian
wow.
can kind of
Yeah.
do like database things, if that makes sense. So kind of back to your point, right? I can see if a project is active, if it's paused, created, when it was updated, the description, the tech stack, the repo, what's the local path, all those things. So once again, whenever I'm working on projects, and this will make a little bit more sense once I go into some things of how I specifically work when building. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's really helpful. And then I don't have anything in archives. And then just going back to my resources, templates are think of it simple like this. You go ask Claude Code to do research and you want to save that research. Obviously, you have a format of a way you want to save that research. So whenever you start a note, whether it's manually or use something like Claude Code, there's a templatized way of what it's supposed to look like.
Hmm.
And then
Cool.
Excalidraw is basically, like I said, Excalidraw. You can put that stuff in here. So kind of going into some I guess project manager stuff and something called what is it technical reliability something. There's a term that basically means when you
SRE,
build.
site reliability?
Nah, not that.
No.
It's basically a term that whenever you build something pertaining to code, like it's supposed to trace back to the origin or the parent of why it was built. I can't think of the exact word, the exact naming of it. It's something that I was doing, I guess, that I didn't know I was doing for a long time, but the actual term. But my
Nice.
my goal of, I mean, and what people would really be doing anyway is like with this code or automations that you make diagrams and stuff like that in
Yeah.
general, right? So whenever I'm once again opening Claude Code to do a project and it's working on something that's building a basic workflow, it will have a script here. That's what this script here is for. These are like settings with this plugin that will automatically do it and add it here to make a long story
Cool.
short. All right. Which is like super helpful and easy because I can be more detailed with that product and stuff like that. Very small example of shapes is how I save information. So I actually go a little bit more into this. There's a platform I use called AI Table. Very short description. It is a clone of Airtable. Very good company, do a lot of dumb stuff. They abandoned this product to make a new version of this. But when I bought this, I have a lifetime deal and a very generous database
Oh,
with
cool.
like a million rows and stuff like that. So just even coming back to this, right? Like I save a lot of information here. This is old stuff. What I'm looking at right now is like old stuff. But like let's go to something that I had recently, like something that I named um, scared of code because a lot of people always ask me for like resources of how I know like all these things or what I've built. So like here's an example of like one of the main things that I talk about when doing this stuff is people build from scratch, in my personal opinion, for no reason. And more
Yeah.
so the people who know that they kind of like don't know these things and I would say not in a bad way, the ones that are really more complaining are the ones building from scratch. So and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's all about the more you know, like you do better basically type thing, right? So like when it comes to a lot of the ideas that people have, there's a GitHub repo already built for that. And when I say a
Right.
GitHub repo, I don't mean like technically from a random person. I mean probably from Vercel, probably from Firecrawl, different platforms. So as an example, Firecrawl does this very well. They have their own open source version of Perplexity. They have their own open source version of Lovable using Firecrawl to do these things, right? So people have ideas that are very close to that. Instead of trying to build that from scratch, just use that template and iterate from there because they already have things that you would even be thinking about um, when it comes to like coding, obviously, and all these other things, right? It's kind of like basically my whole thing. There's other resources such as like, component websites, infrastructures, just literally a plethora of things, right? This is how I share information. So,
Yeah, this is awesome.
right, my whole goal of my is migrating this into
Oh, you want to
Obsidian.
put it into Obsidian. Got it. Okay.
Right, which is what you kind of see here. So, like information about Superbase that I know, another database platform called Convex, different things like that. ShadCN, which is what I talk about all the time. NextBase is where we get like really technical. So, like I've said this before, and I always don't mind sharing this. My whole goal is not to like have
Yeah,
people buy
I'd
stuff.
love to see that list at some point whenever
Yeah,
you publish
not
it.
not have people buy stuff and do stuff, but like some people have probably heard me talk about when I used to heavily be in WordPress. And basically, I made this thing called WordPress as a service, which is equivalent to if you're familiar with Go High Level Works. It is basically a platform where you have an agency owner can deploy an infinite amount of sub accounts, right? And they can
Hmm.
be pre-deployed with settings, websites, automations, and other things like that. That is what I built for WordPress, right? All ran by WooCommerce, right? So I built the WooCommerce store where I sold pre-configured WordPress websites that had many different type of configurations. So I'm very used to not building from scratch. And actually, that's not really not building from scratch. Setting, let me be specific because there's many things in that, but there's one specific thing. It's how can I phrase this? It's building in a way where you can deploy multiple things, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people, that's not the first thought. So because I've been building literally for so long, and because I'm in a large network of people that I know will probably want what I build, I'm always building in that mindset. And there's other
Hmm.
infrastructure that supports that, like Vercel for platforms, Superbase for platforms, which is what platforms like Lovable run on and other things. They give them the infrastructure, right, to deploy a multitude of the same things that are already pre-configured for whatever that product is. So before AI even came out, I always, when it came to coding, looked for component kits because I understood, let's start from the origin, that, and this is all going to mix into Obsidian, I promise you, right? This
All
is
good.
right. ShadCN is what almost everyone uses or what everything is built on. Open source library with components that are already built where you can use these to, build your front end, right? It's gotten so deep now that they have a directory, right? What is this directory? Because once again, these are open source components. You got to think there are probably other developers and people who are good at design and building front ends that build a lot of things that don't want to start from scratch, or simply because they're amazing animations or UIs or different things like that.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
let's actually use a very popular library, React Bits, right? Where now he's selling some of these, which makes sense. A lot of these are free, right? But if I want some crazy background, right, like this,
Yeah.
instead of me trying to make it, right, I can come here and I can look at the code, can literally copy it with a command and have it, right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to build from scratch. That's kind of the
Right.
whole premise of what I'm going. Now, back to what this is in Obsidian, it's just once again saving those resources and doing that. So I have a product that I bought called NextBase from a developer that I met. Literally, this is a product where literally already has a template with authentication, uh, Stripe, inviting users, subscriptions, admin panels, everything that you would literally need when you're building a SaaS or even a micro
Yeah.
SaaS or even internal tool. And because I know that I'm probably going to be building these things a lot, and just to give context, you don't have to pay for this. There are other versions of this that are free that you can use. I just chose to use to do a pay one just for other reasons that I don't even think are worth mentioning right here. But I'm just wanting to give as much context as I can. So
Oh, this is great.
whenever
I could actually use this for, I built a one-off for one client, but for future clients, I could use this to kind of standardize it. This is awesome.
yeah, and I'm gonna go more into um, detail of this is well. I kind of like have no choice, even if I didn't want to, which I that's not like a problem at all. But yeah, it's all gonna
Sure.
tie into each other. So like whenever and there's certain project criteria, but whenever I'm doing certain projects, if it falls under an internal tool or an actual SaaS product, I can instantly deploy something, have Superbase built, my table's already built, literally just start building from a feature perspective. I talk about this all the time, but people kind of really may not understand what I mean. And it's basically, I'm saying if you build projects and you're starting from scratch, you should have some type of template to do that, whether it's free or paid. And you can do that at very different levels. It can be an entire application, it can be on the front end. I'll show another example. Here it is another product um, that I bought called ShadCN, and I have many of these. I'm probably just going to show one more after this.
Sure.
This is one where, once again, this is all built on ShadCN, where these are basically admin pages or different pages for different applications that are already built. So if I have a client that wants me to make them an e-commerce front end or do anything e-commerce, I
Right.
pay for this. I can come here, attach it on there, and bam, there we go. If I, for whatever reason, get a hotel client, right, I can start, vibe coding something in there. If I want to start doing something with schools or even for myself, I can do that. If I have somebody that's in hospital, right, I don't have to ever really start from scratch. If I want to make an interface for managing API keys because I know I'm going to do that, I can do that. If I want to do anything with POS, right, kind of getting
Yeah.
the point here. I have these things already built. I'm rarely going to do some of these things from scratch. If I am, it's purely from a learning experience. But to be honest, a majority of that time, you're going to get the same experience not starting from scratch. And that may sound crazy, but I can definitely vouch for it because uh, yeah, even if you build something again using this same thing, it's still going to benefit you like you were building from scratch.
Right.
Especially if and this usually what happens, and it's not a big deal. Um, some of these still have problems when you clone it and try to start it up and do stuff like that. So
Right.
going back to Obsidian, um, that's what this next base section is, because and I'm gonna get a little detailed here. So going into I have four templates, right? And each of these templates, some context is going to be missing here for certain reasons, but I'm gonna try to give you a majority of it. I bought um, a regular package and then I upgraded to his ultimate package, and that basically gave me four different templates. And these templates are um, right, and it kind of goes into it right here. This first template is super minimum. It's going to give me the app structure. It's going to give all these things. Now, keep this in mind how this is documented, right? And then it gives the second one. It talks about what it has, what it doesn't have. It talks about the third one. The main difference between this is just it has something called INTL, which is basically like you ever go to an app or a website, you're able to click on the flag or whatever, and then click on the thing and switch the language, and the entire thing changes the
Yeah.
language. That's basically what that is. And then it has like the last one, which basically doesn't have that previous thing I just mentioned because most people don't need it if you're not building like an international app, basically. It takes out complexity. And I have a very detailed, like obviously graph of what has and what doesn't have, right? And other things like that. And kind of all of these other files that are here are different conversations because maybe I might have an idea to this is a great example, right? So like I'm thinking about actually starting a project of making, let me be very specific with my word, a lovable clone for high level, right? Very simple, right? So
For the CRM for high level, you mean?
yeah, for
Okay.
anything, yeah, well, not for anything, but for specifically for high level, the only thing it's going to do is produce apps or front ends or internal tools, websites for high level, nothing else. Very much probably considering this idea because I just have a lot of knowledge and understanding of how certain things work, and I think it'd
Right.
be good just really as a side project with what's kind of going on right now. So because of the context that I have, uh, this once again having all of these downloaded on my, excuse me, trying to sneeze here.
Bless you.
Ooh, thank you. So it has all of this documented at a very deep level. Whenever I have different ideas to do things like, hey, because the vibe coding platform or code that I'm going to use is already like a platform, I need to figure out how am I going to put this in what I already have, right? Because if I go build from the vibe coding platform, I lose out on authentication, right? All these things that I just had to explain that I know I'm going to have to build. So I'd rather do it vice
Yeah.
versa. I'd rather take this front end that is already working, everything is here, and figure out how to embed this in my app. Gotta
Right.
now normally, and it's not like a bad thing. I think people would try to do that in real time, right? So they would actually be trying to code and do that. Doesn't know why. You need to plan very thoroughly as much as you can, even if you're going to get it wrong, right? But
Right.
at least I know I have the identifiers that I need to look for of what I'm going to change, what I need to rotate, where it needs to go, what needs to be added, right? What conflicting dependencies they're going to be, and all these other
Yeah.
things in between. I mean, very specific here, but
Yeah,
all these
versus when
other
I
things.
just did this with a client, I literally was setting up a HIPAA compliant database on Firebase, and I had to just keep telling Claude like, try it again, do it this way, because I was doing it from scratch. Like I didn't have this resource documentation. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Or anything just to reference. Maybe you saw
Yeah.
another project that was very similar on GitHub to what you wanted. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And you were like, look at this, right? You save notes, and I'll give a perfect example. In that same example, you would have had how wherever you would have started Claude, you would have just said, hey, I want to start a project on this. Can you look for any GitHubs? Okay,
Right.
found a GitHub. Then it's just going to document this here. And then when you actually start the actual project, like from scratch or whatever, or not even that. So let me take it back. From that conversation, they would have told you like, hey, you're better off cloning this and changing this here. Or if you do start from scratch, here's what we identified that we can exactly take of what you're looking for to
Right.
start building what you want, right? Which is why they have like all this
Totally.
stuff here, basically, and everything, right? And that's kind of like what all these are for. Going back more into the vibe coding thing, because I know I need a sandbox, right? I need to do comparisons of different things because once again, if I when I make the decision to take these steps to this would be the second part of doing this because I'm using Vercel starting off. I know I'm not going to use Vercel for long because I'm just not a person that is vendor locked in. I'm very familiar with E2B. Moto is a company that powers Lovable, right? I'm very I do a lot of research and stuff, and AI can do this. This is not like not advanced. Obviously, like you're in a lovable community, you talk to a lot of people. Like it's not hard to get this information. The whole point is
Right.
it's documented. So when I want to work on things, the AI instantly knows where to go. Another
Right.
reason that is not that web searching is bad. It's just not reliable all the time. And somebody was asking me this yesterday, like they were very confused. I was like, you if you're not using the AI, if you can't verify what it's telling you, or it's not verifying in a way to you, you shouldn't trust it. What do I mean by that? If it's not going to the web and getting something, even if it's wrong, it's not verified, right? It's literally just, and why shouldn't you do that? Well, we know the training model is never up to date with 2026. So why would you
Right.
take the first answer as the most definite answer all the time? Now, that's tricky because there are some times it is going to give you that the first time, but it's not something that I think you should do often. So I always verify by putting in, even if I know it. Hey, did you look at the entire API documentation? Hey, and I'll get into some other settings that I have that help with that and stuff, but that's kind of the mindset that you should have. Now, going back to the other part, I've already done the web research, or as I'm doing the web research, or once again working with code, I can have it come document this here in real time so it can come back and look at this to reference this and learn. Now, let me just show one thing real quick. This knowledge graph, all this stuff is connected. Even
Nice.
though these are, and I can't get into like all this stuff, but just to give like a concept, like all those projects I showed you are like all connected, which connects to what other things that I talk about, like that might be end up being content or related
Right.
to, software that's being there. Once again, to kind of give like the grand scheme, right? The AI SDK is something that I talk about that's used. Not only do I use it for literally a majority of all my projects, it's what I'm gonna have to use for that whole project that I'm telling you I'm thinking about of building the vibe coding platform for um Vercel, right? So right here's
Yeah.
that kind of plan. Like, okay, I have two templates that I can use. Obviously, I'm not going to use the ultimate because that's really more for like everyday SaaS use. I need to use my Teams version, right?
Mhm.
What do I need to upgrade from there? And then, here are some key links to look at, right? If it needs to go look at something. Once again, all here for Claude to have reference to for whatever I'm doing. Going back to the Claude Code challenge thing, once again, all this stuff is here. Now, kind of going back to the gentleman I was talking about on YouTube earlier. Let me do a search again because this is also we'll kind of get into like how I was doing some of this stuff. So when I came here, do you realize? And this is not, I'll be honest, this is not something I do all the time. And it's very hard to kind of measure this, but I'm just a very biased person, just to give like, I'm very biased on like how I kind of, you have to be doing something for a long time. It
Yeah.
obviously not automations because it's not very many people that do automations as long as me. That doesn't mean they're not good. But in terms of like note taking and organizing and stuff, you got to be very doing it for a long time and be able to kind of like obviously articulate that or somebody be able to tell that, right? For me to come look at your Substack, which is a platform I don't use, and other things to
Right.
see like, oh, how is he using this to how can I incorporate this into what I'm doing type of thing. That's kind of how I go about things. So, and even though he doesn't have a lot of stuff, like you kind of fast forward a little bit, his videos are great. But when I go into, okay, this whole point of like, how can I use Obsidian for me? What am I looking at and stuff? So the first thing I did was, like I said, I looked at and he has the same playlist. I looked at that previous guy who has a playlist like this and understood these methodologies and other things, right? He talked about the power method, and then he had his own little customizations that he did to the power method because he felt like they had some limitations, and I resonated with that. That was cool. And then I was like, okay, well, let me at least look up. I always try to look up two people minimum. Oh, who else is there? I saw this guy, and then he was like pretty consistent. It wasn't just like a one-off video. I don't like one-off
Right.
video content things. Those things like drive me crazy. And I think they really pollute how people have
Right.
been learning these last like 2 years, 3 years, to be honest. 15, 30 minute video, like, and then you don't even ever do one again. It's like, no,
Right.
that doesn't, I can see this guy progressed from like, I use Obsidian, before they maybe even had community plugins to like his recent videos, Obsidian with OpenClaw. Like, okay, this guy's playing around with stuff and like still using this product. That's kind of like my mindset about it. But that basically led me to his Substack where I was just reading his Substack, like, you know, stuff like this. And I even had, put this link inside of Claude Code if you don't want to read it. But
Yeah.
I'm just getting a different view, right? This
Yeah.
task notes, I didn't know about that until he said it. Right. And I was like, oh snap, you know what? Let me see what that is and how he's using it. And that's how I go into this whole some of these things I definitely already know, but it's about the perspective, right?
Right.
So, sometimes I'm not gonna act like I don't know everything, but there are definitely things that I don't know. But a majority of the time, I'm looking for the perspective and stuff like that. Even though this was super short, but like I said, he has, you know, content. I love posts like this when they talk about like, and this one went viral, the creator Obsidian of he shared basically how he does things with Claude Code and how he shares notes. Oh, this is where I was looking for this whole time. Thank you, Jordan, because I've been literally looking for this thing. Add this in there. But like this is different things, right? Like different skill repos to have and
Yeah, this is cool.
download and done. You get what I'm saying? It's just giving you a
Yeah.
different perspective of how you would look. Because where else would you put that?
Right.
In my Todoist?
Right, exactly.
And not that that's bad, but once again, the whole point is like the fastest way for Claude to get access to that is these files on my computer to use this and then reference that and do things and stuff like that. Um, didn't mean to do that. So yeah, my research on Obsidian wasn't very crazy. Like I said, I listen to YouTube videos all the time. I ran through literally all of their videos in like a day.
Yeah, I want to do that after
Like,
this.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, or like I
Yeah.
said, if you want to cheat, put it in Google Notebook, get a,
Yeah,
and
what is Google
I
Notebook?
actually,
I don't even know Google Notebook. I know Mark uses it.
yeah, so like Google Notebook is
It's just like interactive. You give it something and then you can like talk to it, right? About the
like
content.
NotebookLM, right? Is what you're,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're saying you never used it?
I haven't used it. I set it up once and I honestly just, dude, I've been busy trying to deliver clients, but I need to set aside time to like learn. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
building and there's learning, you know?
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of stuff in Google Notebook, and that's not to take away from it. I was very much in their beta, even using it on my phone before they had an app. But like essentially what you do, and I'll give a perfect example. This is the same thing I did with those videos, right? So you can come here and there's different sources that you can put in here. So it could be a PDF, it could be a YouTube video, it could be a website, it could be all these different things. And then it just
Yeah.
automatically
Okay.
kind of gives you like an overview and questions
Dude.
that it populates. So like once again, I don't know what the para is, right? So it's explaining,
Yeah,
what
this is
it is
cool.
that what I was kind of
Right.
talking to you about. I don't do it a lot, but it is a good way to kind of fast
Yeah.
forward. Even for someone like me that kind of like from a
Yeah.
connectivity, once again, for me, it's the perspective that I'm trying to extract. So once again, I understand why people might not watch videos, but I do both. Like that is just
Yeah.
something that I do a
No, I
lot.
like videos.
Yeah.
Can you tell me real quick, what do you need to do like to push? So if you're using Obsidian on Git, can you show me how you're
Yeah,
doing
I'll
the
show you.
syncing?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Cool.
So, it's a community plugin, which is
Oh,
right
that's right. You
here,
said
plug it
that.
in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's simple settings that you could uh
Oh, and then it
edit here.
automatically. Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
so
All
like I don't
right.
know if you see it on the side right here. Like
Yeah.
I have it
Oh
set
yeah,
to
the
every
changes. Got it. Okay.
yeah, I have it set to every 10 minutes. Like it doesn't update.
Perfect.
And
Okay.
then I don't know where my phone is. That's what I was looking for when I first started this. But there is a application called you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
There's an application called Working Copy. And what it is basically like uh a very and this guy's been developing this for 2014. I did like my whole background into it because it's very rare you see an app with like perfect 5 stars and like all amazing reviews, but like it's the shit. Basically it's an app that like lets you
Oh yeah.
do
Huh.
GitHub stuff. Yeah, it lets you do like GitHub stuff on your phone. So what you basically do, and I have like a guide for all this just in case like you don't get it done soon, but like obviously you have I want to do it. Like I'm gonna have
Yeah.
all that stuff for advanced Claude Code settings, Obsidian settings, how I have
Yeah,
like my Claude
do you ever
Code all
run
over the way.
Claude Code from your phone? Do you ever do that?
Yeah, I do.
How do
So,
you, is that using working copy or something different?
no, no, no. So I'll go. All of that is going to connect together right now. So
Cool.
let's start from the Claude Code point, right? When this is pushed to GitHub because it's a private repo, and you go to Claude Code Web on your phone, it only has access to those repos. You
Yeah.
could have it change stuff here. You get what I'm saying? It's just files.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
the only thing you would have to do is when you get on your local computer because there's no sync, is do a git pull,
Yeah,
right?
from when you're in Windsurf or terminal, right? Got it.
Right.
Yep.
So now what I just did, which got me to learning how working copy works, and I literally did working copy like literally last night. Because I was thinking in my head, because once again, I was having a conversation with my friend Steven of just going back and forth of like the benefits of using Obsidian and stuff. And I was kind of like looking into like how it would really help with Git and I understand GitHub very well and Git like I understand it very well, but still always stuff to learn, right? So like
Yeah.
using this like notes and stuff for Gits or a backup is good, and then just an easy way for me to be able to pull this on another device still with something I naturally use, if that makes sense. Um,
Totally.
so when you download working copy, you sign into your GitHub
Okay.
it's gonna ask you to clone, and it has SSH. It does everything. Like it's a fucking crazy
Yeah.
tool. And when you so first, let me start over. You download the Obsidian app on your phone. You're gonna create a vault. It's gonna be blank. You're not gonna um They'll ask you to create a new vault. The first option you're going to press no because that's going to try to have you do the cloud, and then you're going to have a blank vault. When you download
Uh-huh.
work and copy, you're going to sign in your GitHub and then clone um, the well, you would have already. So I'm going to make sure because some of these are like overlapping, and this is good. I can think about the order. So first, actually, here you would have downloaded the app, like the community plugin for Git, because you at least need this to be pushed to GitHub to do the other steps that I'm talking
Right.
about. So this is actually truly the first step is you need to download this, it'll have you connect your GitHub, and then it's going to do a push for something to be there. Next, you would download Obsidian, create a new vault, have it be blank because there's going to be no sync yet. You download working copy because working copy you sign in your GitHub. It allows you to clone that Obsidian vault, and because Obsidian vault uses the file storage on your phone, you select that as where you want it to be saved. It's like such a fucking
On
crazy.
your phone. So you're saying Obsidian phone app. I got it. I think I hear you.
Yeah, so like you know
Okay.
how you go into your files on your phone and then
Yeah.
like let's say you downloaded something from like Chrome or something else, it has like the Chrome emblem there. There's gonna be like an Obsidian icon there with the
Okay.
name of the vault because you're gonna name your vault when you make it, even though it's blank. You're
Okay.
gonna like so I name mine just home, and then you're gonna
Right.
see home there. And like in working copy, basically it's gonna ask you like where do you want
Yeah.
to move this? At the bottom, you're gonna put home. You literally click save and literally it's instantly there. So
Damn, I'm
when I
gonna have
want
to
to
probably
when I
consolidate my GitHubs. Shoot.
so when you can just transfer ownership if you don't know that.
You can? Okay, cool. Do you just
Yeah,
have
so
your
if you
GitHub
know
through your personal email then? Like your main GitHub is just like your main email?
I have like so for my business email, my Otaku Solutions domain, I do all that stuff under admin.
Oh, you're saying on GitHub you have different users?
No, no, no. I'm saying like to
No.
your question to my email, which email I use
Oh,
for my
admin. Yeah, no,
yeah,
but you for
admin
GitHub
domain.
you have a personal Git. You have for GitHub is it linked? Like what user do you use?
I use a
Like
personal one.
just your personal email, right? Okay,
Well, that's what,
got it.
well, I use my business email. That's what I'm saying. It's admin at
You do your business
otakusolutions.io.
email. Okay. Then
Yeah,
all
yeah,
your GitHub's there. All your Git like that's
yeah,
your
yeah.
main GitHub account.
I don't have like a different GitHub account for anything.
Okay, cool. Got it. All right. So I'll consolidate. I'll move everything over to my business one.
Yeah,
I got
you
you. Okay.
can when you go into the settings, you can like just put in that other like literally just your name and then just transfer over the ownership, and then it'll
Cool.
literally be
Perfect.
under that account. Like you don't gotta do nothing else. It takes like literally 30 seconds.
Cool.
hmm Um, so coming back to this, where was I going? Right. So yeah, you download working copy, you press sync, and then you would have it on your phone if you wanted to work on your phone from Obsidian because you wouldn't do it from working copy, even though you can. It'd just be more like terminal looking like this type of thing. And actually, really quick, what I can do, I'm gonna try to resume some other conversation. Actually. And that conversation is, I think it's compacted, but it should still show in my history. What was I working on before this? Yeah, I was in the components. So if I go to some conversation,
Wow. I just had Claude ask me for high effort and medium effort. I've never had that before. Is that new?
yeah, that came in the last update that they did.
Is that like in the last 3 days or something? Shoot. Or
No
maybe
more
does it
than
not
3 days.
ask that on maybe when I'm using cursor it doesn't ask, huh? Or if I do dangerously skip, it might not ask.
Uh, Possibly not. No.
Interesting. Do you do medium or high or do you play or do you switch it?
I don't think I have that because I have thinking on always. So I have like in, in my Claude code, there is basically an invisible user.md file that
Oh, okay.
has certain settings. What just gave me this? Oh, that windsurf update thing. That has why did I say that? That has certain settings because that just distracted me. So
Sorry.
no, it wasn't you. It was that pop-up thing. What did you say? What did you ask me before again, really quick?
Oh, I was asking you about high effort, medium effort, because I had never seen
Yeah,
that
yeah,
option
yeah.
before.
So that just came out in the last update they did. I don't think I have because in my Claude code, basically, whenever I start a conversation the first time, it's in plan mode already. And I don't think
Yeah.
that has anything to do with it. I just think that's like an extra setting inside of there to do that. But yeah, my thinking goes on for kind of like a pretty a good amount of time. But going back to like that stuff that I was showing you in Obsidian, where I was talking about those templates and doing those comparisons, that's what that was right here. So
Yeah.
to give context back to this, I'm gonna try to do this in a way where I don't share too much, even though I
So
don't.
so this is so Tylen, this is now pulling from your Obsidian MD in addition to doing general
Well,
research. Is that
it
what you're
was all
saying?
it was doing all those things at once,
That's
right? So
awesome.
this project is one of the foundations to this vibe coding thing that I'm talking about for Go High Level. So as I'm finishing this and I'm going now into the phases where these things are built, I need to actually use it in this builder or use it somewhere.
Yeah.
That's why I'm looking into even though I knew about the vibe coding project, that's why I'm doing all that research and putting things together. Okay, if I'm going to build this vibe coding project, I'm going to use one of my templates. What does my
Yeah.
template has? What doesn't it have? What am I going to put in there? What is the migration progress? What if I want to use a different data? All these other things, right? I'm putting all that together. I did that from here,
Right.
right?
From this terminal and side cursor. One surf. Got it. Okay.
Exactly. As I'm working on this Go High Level component project, and this is a long conversation, it's compacted, but what I'm also saying is like I have my User.md file to where
Yeah.
going back to the sessions and stuff and doing stuff, it's automatically going to do this. So it's very rare when I'm talking to my Claude Code now that I need to say, add this to Obsidian. And even if
Really?
I
Damn,
do,
that's
it's going
awesome.
to do it already.
That's cool. Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
so
how I'm
Obsidian,
like,
you're right. Obsidian is essentially like a more curated layer that should save context and tokens because it's like this is it's prioritizing
I mean,
resources and
there's this thing like, let me see if it'll happen in real time because I don't know if it's an update with Claude Code or if it's a plugin I have or what it is. But like, let's say let me just think real quick because I see a couple of things on my screen. I know my contact, I have it closed now at 70% instead of 80, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
dude,
But like
this
you,
insights thing is awesome. Thank you for showing me this.
yeah, usually like I notice, and this has been like for a week or two, whenever I'm working and I'm like, it has a task and I say, can you do more research and tell me about the moto company that we found out about? So I wondered, like usually when I do this, whenever it responds back, I gotta pay more attention. I'm not sure if it's in plan mode or not, and I don't think that matters.
Yeah, it looks
Yep.
like it's in plan mode.
Well, no, I can see that, but I mean
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
if it happens when
Oh,
it
when you're not
fails
in
or
plan mode.
not,
I got you.
yeah, because
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's so frequent that I don't think it matters which one. That it'll say clear context,
Yeah.
right? So you could have a conversation every time, clear
Dude,
context,
it's always clear in context now.
and then
Yeah, because of Opus 4.6 uses way more token. I get through context like 5 times faster than I did with 4.5.
so it's funny. I haven't used for I don't so let's check really quick before I speak. I know I haven't used it, but it wasn't available. No, so let me take that back. The 4.6 that I'm using
Yeah.
doesn't, this one here doesn't have the million context that you're talking about. That's what you're referring to, right? Because I think that's only with 4.5. Let me check. I could be wrong. Let's see. Where is that at again? Where is that at again? Where is that at again?
Is it under model/model maybe?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
there,
no.
yeah, there it is. High
But the
effort. Yeah.
million, yeah, so the million is for 4.5. I don't use that. I just use Opus.
I don't,
And
yeah.
I
Oh,
just
with
started
1
using that.
million. Yeah,
Yeah, I just yeah. Well, this Opus doesn't have 1 million. It has the 200K.
I
Am
know.
I
No, I
wrong?
know it's much
Okay,
smaller.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I just making sure to go back and forth with you. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't, and that's not to say the 1 million isn't good for more
No,
content,
but what I'm saying is
but
Opus 4.5, you had a lot more time with the context window than you do with 4.6. And then now it's
Mm,
automatically, you have to change the setting where when it does a plan, it automatically compacts the conversation. So you have to tell it if you don't want it to do that.
mm. See, I have auto. I put my compacting lower just in general to like 70 or 60%,
Oh,
so
you
it does it
really?
all the time. Yeah, you can do settings for that.
You
Yeah,
like having it automatically compact sooner, you're saying?
it was just something that I just did in general, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like
Uses
to be honest, I
preferences.
don't. So I'm very big on like the. So going back to like I just changed this because I have so many settings here that I didn't want as I was doing some of these things. But I used to always when I start my conversation have to turn off MCPs. Once again,
Yeah.
using the same and they're all local. So like Superbase, um,
Nice. Okay.
Convex, other local ones, not the remote one, because these are things that I always use all the time. Of
Oh yeah,
course,
and you're running through the API. I see. Yeah, that's why. That's probably different. I'm running on one of the paid plans.
no, I'm on the $200 plan, max
Oh, you
plan.
are? Oh, it's interesting because it says Claude API instead of Claude Max.
I don't know why they changed. I think that's an update or something. Oh, you know what I think happened? Like recently, they gave everybody $50 in credits,
Oh yeah.
and I think that's why that's doing that. But now I pay the $200 plan. So like the thing with the context, right? Like, and if I've always this never bothered me, and I was always good at it. I'm always good at turning off MCPs I don't use, even
Yeah.
like they're ones that I have on all the time. Obviously, the equivalent to that is making a skill and doing stuff. So I have a lot of things like inside of my Claude Code personally set up. And even when it compacts, like to be honest, I don't feel like it degrades. Like when I run into
Yeah.
problems,
Mine does.
they're like I'll be honest, when I run into problems, they're like actual problems.
Yeah,
And
mine
it's
aren't. Mine
very
aren't.
yeah.
Mine are like, dude, we've done this before. Like we did this 2 days ago. And that's where Thailand, hopefully this is Obsidian is helpful because I find that I'm having to like remind it like, hey, we already did a SIP connect here and we knew that the setting didn't work. So like don't try a million things. Like this is
If
what
I
I've
so
been
if I
doing.
if
Sorry, go
so like
ahead.
let's say you already have in that exact case, like if you already had it, I'm assuming it's on your local computer, then like
Yeah,
you would kind of do what I did, like get all of your projects organized
right.
so Claude Code can just reference them. So you say, hey, go
Yeah.
look at this because we already did this and just go pull that code or go do that.
I mean, yeah, and usually what I do at the end of sessions, and this is probably from old school when Claude Code first started, which is honestly funny to say because less than a year ago, like I'll ask it at the end of a session to be like, hey, can you pull any session, like write any session notes that you think are helpful for this at scale with another project, or update memory.md or update claude.md. And again, maybe Obsidian kind of renders that process like not necessary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so like I said, I really think people should just edit their actual Claude settings because there's
In the
so much
Claude.md,
that
you mean? Or no, like Claude
nah, like the
settings.
actual Claude
Okay, I never
settings.
do
So
that. I
like
should look into that.
yeah, so what I'll do actually is like let's close this. We give an example, start a new conversation. I'm explaining to my friend here about how I modified my Claude code settings. Can you give me an overview of all the configurations that we have so far and how they work? Let me actually take that out of plan mode. I'm gonna share this very soon in a very easy way so people can get to their Claude code because there's, I think, literally like one or two more things that I'm working on, but I still have to kind of wait because I need to make some Obsidian. I have to basically make like a version that if you have Obsidian or if you don't have it on your computer, because like that's how kind of mine um, works. But I'll let
Cool.
it do that.
Yeah.
But while it's doing that really quick, just to talk about this, and the reason why I emphasize on this so much because I don't know, I guess I have weird answers to a lot of things. Like people are like, "Oh, I use this Ralph Wiggum and I use this and I looked at
Yeah,
that
right.
and
The
I'm
Ralph
like,
Wiggum,
I'm
exactly.
just using Claude Code and I do all the same things, or I still
No,
do
I
the
know. And
same
that's what my
things
buddy,
better.
he's like, that's what the
So,
founder of Claude Code says. He's like, he doesn't ask to do session update. You know what I mean? Like he just uses it. What are you
uh,
gonna share at some point that resources list you had of like in your AI table? You said you're gonna
oh
post that at
yeah,
some
yeah,
point?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna be shared. I can't. I know how, and right now in my mind, I can't think about it. But yeah, that that will be shared in general, like throughout the
Okay, cool.
challenge. Throughout that challenge, I told you like all those things are kind of going to be mentioned or actually used for people and stuff like that. But yeah, but basically this right here just talks about like configuration settings for Claude Code. You can literally just come put this page in Claude Code and ask about it. It's very straightforward, but there's a lot of things that people
Cool.
um, don't
Nice.
know
Yeah, I
that
didn't even
actually
think
use
about that.
it.
Exactly. This will be helpful because again, then I'm like I hate having again, I'm literally and you are too. So this is why I'm so grateful for you and like this community, right? Like I'm now pinning my business success on my ability to reliably use Claude Code, right? And
Right.
so for a tool that sometimes and I'm on like the Claude Code Reddit and like every day they're like it's better today, it's worse today. They're nerfing it. Like I just need consistency. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can't say those things are not true, but
Right. No, I think they could be.
and really how I look at it, I'm gonna really be honest with you, and this goes back to like I'm actually glad I look at it. I take everything going back to I take everything with a bias. There's no
Yeah.
way for me or them and a majority of those things to like really prove that. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? Like AI is
Yeah.
so random, whether it's good or bad, that like it could be user error. I hate to say, I don't know what to
Right.
tell you. Like I really, you get what I'm saying? So like
Totally.
the measurement like is very hard to really measure those things. So to be honest, I never have, but I really don't pay attention to them because if my regular metric is you don't know APIs, you literally don't know the basic development process, like what else would you expect or what would I expect from somebody that didn't know that? And then I just have to assume like you're under the impression that the AI was supposed to do it. And whether that's right or
Right.
wrong, like that's not how it works. Like
Yeah, I know
we're
that's a
not
really
there
good
yet.
point. I'm like literally looking at
You,
random Reddit users that probably don't know anything about product management, you know?
you get what I'm
Like
saying? Like you have
yeah.
like don't get me wrong that how you measure who's actually been on Reddit and not some bullshit and all that,
Right.
that's extra time. Like it's no different than like the viral post when the Claude Code person put something on Twitter, right? You got all these other
Right.
bullshit people putting on. He's like, here's how I use it, and it's like none of that
Right.
extra shit. You're like, oh, okay, I kind of maybe I shouldn't have been fucking listening to these other guys. And I don't necessarily. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I just don't try to use other people's experience and put that in my own. We can
Yeah.
experience the same thing, but I don't put it in a way where like, yeah, nah.
Like, okay,
That
so here's a question for you. Like, I just did this insight. Like, is it beneficial then to move the Claude.md editions? Like, I would create an Obsidian Markdown file with some of the insights, and then Claude Code can now reference the
yeah, I'll
this.
show you what I mean because
Yeah, please.
when it's saying some of those MD suggestions, I think it's saying that for an individual project.
Right.
I'm talking about like whenever I start up Claude Code, these rules apply to any project, and you don't even see the MD file.
I see. Okay, cool.
Um,
Okay, here we go. Cool.
right. So it'll say right here, this is my where this MD file is, right? So it says this is my global instructions that get loaded into Claude Code every session, regardless of which project I'm in. Right. That MD file you're talking about is when Claude basically runs the slash in it and it makes an MD file about everything. So it does.
Yeah.
Right. So what it covers, specific rules, specific scopes, specific things like whenever we're building something, go look at the SDK
Yeah.
over raw API requests.
But
Uh,
did you
uh,
you set up Claude Code to do all of this like in their settings? You had to go through a lot and do a lot of tweaking?
no, I opened up the terminal just like this and told Claude Code to edit its own settings.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool.
Mhm. Um, right. I have a
Edit its
direct.
own settings based on what sort of guideline? Based on
I just took this documentation and put it in there.
which one? Oh, the one the this one, the Claude Code dot settings. Okay.
It sounds
Oh,
so simple and
yeah,
crazy,
no,
but
I
like
know
that's
it
how
did. So you
I just
literally took Claude code.claude.com docs and you put it into the terminal and said update your settings to be
no, like a long
this.
time ago, I just was like,
Yeah.
what are these settings that I could use?
And then oh, did you go through one by
Like
one?
Claude desktop, most people have had enough conversations in here for this to have an understanding of how they work,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So literally just put that in there and I said, hey, like, what are these settings? what could I modify? And it says, hey, based on you building all these things and this and doing that, like, here are some things you should look at. Now, adding the extra icing on top, you can take those insights and add it to that as well. And that was the extra thing that I did on top after that, after I ran that insights command and gave me super good insights. And I was like, hey, with these insights, how could I apply this to some of these Claude Code settings? And this is so straightforward, but
Yeah, it
it's like
is.
it's crazy. Claude Code when and I always go back to knowing how something works. And when I say that, I know because I'm like super smart. People think I mean that in a technical way. And to put it simple, because other people are going to watch this, is not just for Jordan. Like,
Yeah.
I promise you, if you come read the documentation before you listen to any YouTube guru or me or anything, you will be way more successful. And this is, as someone who's been in this space for 16 years, this is the first thing I do all the time. This is the first thing I do all the time. Let me go to the documentation. Let me read some instructions. Whatever I don't understand, or even if I do, because I use this AI tool so much, it knows how it works. Let me see what it's going to recommend. Oh, snap. I didn't even know that when you load up Claude Code, you have your own local settings. You have your own project settings, basically meaning that if you're in GitHub, you can have Claude Code settings specifically for that GitHub. So when other people
Right.
run Claude Code, they can know what to do, right? Or you can have user settings. Then you start thinking like, oh shit, now it makes sense of you get what I'm saying? Like it's so
Totally.
straightforward, but I promise you, when you hear all of this other stuff,
Right.
it doesn't seem straightforward. Then when you read the instructions, you're like, damn, you know what? They have like GitHub commands already baked in Claude Code, so I don't have to do this and that, and I can ask for this and do that, and I can put environmental variables, and I can.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is
Yeah, yeah,
literally
for
all I
sure.
did.
Nice.
Um, so then it starts talking about what I have, session management, right? Suggest compact long sessions, headless mode. So like I'm gonna run my insights in a minute, but basically because I I run multiple parallel sessions in multiple projects, it suggests headless mode. I won't get into what headless mode is and stuff like that, but all
Right.
that, right? I use a certain tech stack. So it knows whenever we start with a project, TypeScript, Next.js, ShadCN, Tailwind, Vercel, database. We're going to ask if I use Superbase or Convex, and then you're going to go run those commands automatically there, right? Machine level control. So like there are these things called hooks that kind of run. So like as an example, if I say I'm building a project with Superbase, it will never run a Superbase command and always check in the background if Superbase is even running or Docker's running before it runs that command. So I don't have to go through a whole troubleshoot of basically telling it to do that or doing it myself, right? Um,
Yeah,
Certain things, and that's kind of like basically
it's
let's go
awesome.
right here, like session auto tracks. This is the one that we're kind of talking to, right? So like here are hooks, basically automatic guardrail and life cycles, right? So same one I just explained, check Docker, right? Before any Superbase command, verify Docker is running, right? Don't run any destructive commands, or if you do, ask me just in case, which usually really rarely happens, even though people try to like over exacerbate that on YouTube. Um, right. So
Yeah,
I have another hook that says don't literally push anything to GitHub. That's on the main branch, so it always has to be on the feature branch, right? I have session tracking, right? Runs on every session start. That's kind of what I told you when I start a project. It's basically going to put this with the TaskNotes API, which is where in Obsidian to track things automatically by itself. It has something to check that so tasks don't run on. Um, I have a hook that basically, if I give the agent a task and it doesn't run that task, it's not going to give me basically a response and say this was finished, even though it's not.
yeah.
So you can like just going into the level of detail of
This is
things that
great.
you can do,
Totally. I didn't
right?
even know, like, yeah,
Uh,
you have like a custom status line. Like, that's sweet. It tells you
Yeah,
what
that's that
branch you're
pink
on.
stuff and that you
Yeah,
see, yeah, and everything like that, and et cetera, right? I have certain automation scripts, once again, which go back to task notes. And the whole point is loaded every time I start Claude Code,
right.
regardless, even though it's not a visual MD file that you see.
Nice, man.
And that's how I tie
Wow.
that in Obsidian, and how I'm tying it in and how I'm doing stuff. Because I'm gonna have another video of like obviously the progress and stuff like that. But
Yeah, so then this is all, again, this all lives in Obsidian more or less.
yeah, it's all lives in Obsidian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. This is super
Yeah.
helpful. Thank you so much for
Yeah, I
spending the
wish
time.
I forgot what his name was. I wish he could have the other guy, I wish he could have showed up because I wanted to see
Ruben?
what he was doing. Yeah, I understood what he was doing. I just wasn't using like
Or is it Dwayne?
he I don't remember, but he was
Okay.
using he had it might have been Dwayne to be. I think it was Dwayne. He
Yeah,
was
I
using it
reached
with the
out to him. I
prompts.
wanted to see too. Yeah,
Yeah, he was using prompts, but hopefully that kind of gives you like a better idea. Like he
totally.
has right files of prompts and stuff like that. So maybe when he's building with AI, like he can already say, "Go take this prompt or reference this," or "This is already
Yeah,
a working prompt for this industry because he's built for so many industries and all this stuff." And then the AI can just go
right.
go there, pull it, reference it, do all that stuff, links things together, and yeah.
Nice, dude. Cool, man. This is super great.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm gonna go watch those YouTube videos and I'm probably gonna try to get my
Yeah, oh,
Claude
let me
Code
give
reset
you
up.
the channel real quick. After today, I'm gonna catch up and upload all of these. I got through YouTube sometimes because they do their little copyright and stuff and everything. I have to wait till they like verify I'm not stealing anything. And then all of those will be up because I think today is yeah, 14 days so far. So still have some more to go. And also to give a little context, all of the one, and this was never the goal, but I know some people, this is usually how some things go. The goal was to never like fully build anything in these sessions, but to get people hands-on or used to following and just hopping in with Claude Code because they probably pay with it. So like for instance, I have like a VAPI one that I'm uploading and some other things. Like I have a high level one that I did yesterday where I just showed like how to basically cheat and use high level
Nice.
back end social planner and make a front end that connects to the social planner so you can basically make a tool so people can post to social media so you don't have to like do the apps for Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And I ran into
Yeah,
problems. I wasn't able to finish it, but I will always believe going through as much as I did and actually connecting the APIs and doing stuff and thinking like a developer is like really helpful because the one thing about these tools is like you, regardless of being non-technical, you still have to know of some level the what I call like the basic local development practices that already go on before AI came out. The AI
yeah,
doesn't change the normal practice of when you build locally before you push, make a PR, put it on a branch. When you know request a branch, it's gonna put it to staging. You get to actually see this and right, it doesn't skip any of that. It can make it
right.
faster or enhance it, but if you don't know any of those things, like really you're just gonna make shit. You're gonna make slop or it's going to take you way longer to get to where you want with whatever you want to do.
For sure.
So it's like showing all those things in between as well. But yeah, my
Love
man.
it, man.
You'll probably get an email because I'm putting all the other calendar updates on there. But
Please.
yeah, if
That'd
you
be
tell me
great.
some other ones, yeah, it'd be cool to see.
Cool, man. Yeah, thank you so much. And again, yeah, we'll have to we're not too far away here in SoCal, so at some point we'll meet up and do like a
Oh yeah,
room
I'm about
setting
to
or
be
something.
I'm about to well, I may be speaking too soon, but I already kind of know how these things work. I'm probably about to be an N8N ambassador. Well, I'm probably about to be an N8N ambassador, a HeyGen
Nice, man.
ambassador. Um,
What's the second one? A what ambassador?
HeyGen,
I don't know that one. Hey, Jen. Okay.
also AI avatar platform.
Oh,
Um,
cool, man. Nice.
there's
Congrats. That's
like two
awesome.
more. Yeah, specifically in LA. But basically means like I'm gonna be throwing events and workshops,
Cool.
and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm hopefully like in
Yeah,
the
let's collaborate on some. I got a good space here too. I'd love to host some stuff or like, get you connected with. I have a couple venues here on the west side too that are gonna be that want to host some of this stuff too. So yeah, keep me updated for
Oh, okay.
sure.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Next time I see you in Mark's community, I'll send you something over or we'll schedule
Sweet.
something and talk about that.
Cool, man.
All right, no
All right,
problem. You have
dude.
a good one. No
You
problem.
too,
Enjoy your
dude.
Sunday.
All right,
Peace.
yeah. Talk to you soon. See ya.